Meeting will come to order. Thank you all for coming. This is a meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. My name is Bob Bouchard, and I would ask the members to identify themselves.
Joshua Faraday, John LeBlanc,
Joseph Chamberlain.
Nancy Yates.
And Mark Knox is absent. And for everyone's information, we are recording this evening's goings-on. So let's get started. We begin with the residences at LeBaron Hills, which is a notice of intent. It's for Phase 5 modifications. It's through Outback Engineering, and it was continued on 4/25. At the request of the applicant, they are asking for yet another continuance. So unless there is any objection.
I make a motion that we continue the residences at LeBaron Hills to
23 or 25?
23.
23.
5/23/23 at 7 p.m.
Here.
second.
Here.
Yes, here.
We'll be here again next meeting.
At the Lakeville Council on Aging.
Thank you for pointing that out. All right, let's move on then. Next one is 310 Kenneth Welch Drive. This is another notice of intent. It has to do with increase in parking and wetland replication through Goddard Consulting, and it was also continued from the 4th of the 25th.
I make a motion that we continue 310 Kenneth Welch Drive to our next meeting on May 23rd at the Council on Aging at 7 p.m.
This was for you put in, it was the applicant's request?
It was at the applicant's own
Yes.
request, yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. All right, now, next, 2 Bedford Street. This is a request for a certificate of compliance. We actually heard from, we discussed this at our last meeting and decided to hold off because of some of the work we thought was inadequate or was not performed. So in the meantime, I've visited the site a couple of times, and I've also been in touch with the attorneys for the applicant. And what they told me is that it's part of the purchase and sales agreement that the buyer would be responsible for the cleanup. They did verify that the cleanup, what I had observed myself, was demolition debris from when they demolished the A-frame.
And that there was no material that had been brought on site, right?
I saw concrete, rebar, fill, boulders, sand and gravel, a little bit of blacktop, a couple of bags of trash, but it looked like basically everything was on site.
Yep.
It was no large-scale trucking or anything like that, at least for the 2 times I was there. And that's what I conveyed to the attorney. So she said she would get together with the buyer, since it's their wish to take on this responsibility. And once it's completed, I gave them several options. The one I liked the most is they would send us a letter when they're finished saying they've done this, that, and the other thing to correct whatever deficiencies we found with the site, and it would be their responsibility to clean it up, and to their knowledge, there weren't any hazardous conditions. So that the topic of the 21E came up, and they didn't actually volunteer to give it to us, but at least make us aware of the content, whether or not there was any hazardous material. So I think that's a good move on their part, and I'd be
Why
willing to
wouldn't
go
they give
along
us a
with it.
copy?
It might be something to do with purchase and sale, I don't know.
Okay.
I can always ask the.
So if we approve this certificate of compliance, even though they never started it and never did anything,
Right.
the new owner's gonna have to file a new notice of intent, correct?
Yes.
If they're gonna do any work, yes.
Okay.
And I think, and you mentioned this earlier, the letter that was sent to us said it was 2 and 4.
Mhm.
So I think we should note that it's 2 and 4, because there are 2 separate lots there.
Right.
So and the order of conditions involved the second lot also. That was the one we were concerned about, because that's where the automotive repair business was.
Right, and we can always ask the new applicant for the 21E.
We can ask, you know, it's up to them. It's really not our,
Well, if it's within 100 feet of the wetland, it is. I
Yeah,
don't
but it's
remember if
not-
it was or not.
it's not a wetlands issue,
What, gas and oil?
no. To require producing a document that's prepared, in this case for a bank or whatever.
For a
We,
bank?
yeah, that's
Okay.
usually what 21, that's where it came from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
banks
banks want-
usually the
They
require,
won't.
yeah.
They won't finance it if they think there's,
Yeah, and she said right now, we're the only ones holding it up, the purchase and sales, so, well, we'll see when the time comes.
so they
what-
essentially just wanna clear the title, so they can
Exactly.
transfer.
Which we've done in the past as well. Okay, so any other questions on Bedford Street? All
So
right,
you're satisfied with what they provide?
as long as they provide me that letter that I requested, it hits all the bullets,
Okay,
I'll be
so
happy.
do we wanna make a motion contingent on that?
Yes,
Okay, I'll make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for SE 192-856, 2 and 4 Bedford Street.
Checking the box that no work has been done.
Yeah, checking the box that no work has been done and contingent on us receiving a letter from them
attorneys for,
guaranteeing cleanup of the site by the new owner.
okay, good enough.
Second. Oh,
The motion and a second, discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
You're all anxious, I can tell. All right, very good. Next, 103 Staples Shore Road. This is another one from last time. This is a request for an extension on an order of conditions. It's kind of strange, there have been multiple hearings and filings on this property. What the last hearing was about was they plan on removing the residence and just building basically a new cottage on that location. All the other work that was proposed has been completed, so really this is all that's left. I talked to the owner, I talked to Rich Rion from Prime Engineering, and they're all satisfied with it. They may never build anything, it may just sit the way it is. Right now, they just don't know, but they wanna get the paperwork out of the way in the event that they can sell it.
is there anything from the Board of Health? Do we require anything from the Board of Health if they have been through the Board of Health? Because I can't imagine in a million years how they're gonna put a septic system there.
It's in.
It is?
It is,
Everybody
it's
has
done.
those sand, those,
It's right on the road, right on, County
Yeah,
Street.
that's
It's
no, that's Donnie. The big one,
Yeah,
that's Donnie.
Donnie.
This is the next house over.
What was the guy's name?
Warren Whipple's
Whipple.
house. It's, Trudy Senna owns it now.
Right.
Because, Jack Perroni.
Jack died, yeah.
But the reason that Donnie's name's on it, they bought it together.
Right, yeah.
So there's no septic system on that lot.
there's no septic system? What is that? Cesspool?
Summer cottage.
Nope, no cesspool either.
An outhouse?
Nope.
Is,
Well, I don't know if there was an outhouse in the old days.
Across the
I don't
street.
know.
wasn't there something across the street?
I don't know.
Usually the
They
wells
had
are across the street over there.
Yeah.
They had
yeah.
I think he had a burn toilet or something like that in there. Yes? Yeah. But like I say,
All right, but we're just extending the existing order of conditions,
Yep.
right?
right.
And that would be for another 3 years?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we extend the order of conditions SE 192-845. So, do we have a date?
No, but I can fill it in when we,
It just gets extended from the expiration date, so you need to specify.
Alright, and plus the extension for COVID or whatever, he probably has a little
buffer
More
built in
grace.
there.
All right, so a 3-year extension from
Whenever.
whenever it ran out.
I thought I saw a date in
When we
here
drop the
somewhere.
paperwork, I'll put the date in.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All righty, new stuff. 2 Rachel's Way. This is a notice of intent. It's for the construction of a single-family home, and Foresight Engineering is man of the hour.
Good evening, Darren Taylor from Foresight Engineering, here on behalf of Mr. Dizio. This is a new construction dwelling, all the wetlands approved during the subdivision process. Most of the work is outside of the 50-foot buffer, other than the actual well location, and it's just to give a buffer to the road. And it's a flatter area right there to get the well truck in, and then we have a floor drain that's also within the 50-foot buffer. The remainder of the house is within the 100-foot. The garage and the driveway are outside, and the septic is outside. As you can see, we're dealing with a steep slope right there, so we've got a walkout dwelling built into the hill. Slight gradient down from the roadway. We've actually been before the Board of Health and approved. We've just been asked to pick up the house 1 foot higher to lessen the slope down in the front yard. It doesn't affect this filing in any way. The grading will still remain the same. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I have a few questions. I've been up there a couple of times now. There hasn't been much change. But there are a couple of piles, several piles of large boulders, rock, whatever. What's gonna become of that? Is that gonna be part of landscaping, or?
No, we've been selling them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we'll move them down to Jared's lot, my son's lot.
Landscaping features.
Yeah. So that all came out of the road.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to get the silt fence up before he gets all those out of there. So that'll be the first step.
We do have a silt fence, part of a,
You've got
Yeah.
several, as a matter of.
Yeah.
silt socks, yeah.
From the road and everything, yeah, they've been doing a lot of construction.
Yeah. That was the first thing we did, because we knew we were gonna put stuff on that lot, because it was the only one that had a field,
Yep.
so.
Now, that lot basically goes downhill,
Yes, correct.
but why is there a pump tank?
Because the septic is raised because of the perched water table.
Gotcha, okay.
So if you know that area at all, at about 3 feet, it's as hard as a rock,
Yep.
literally. So that's why there's all those rocks on the ground. So we're building up for that reason. So we couldn't get a gravity system no matter what we did on the property, so it made sense to drop the house down and do a walkout.
Where's the well?
Down to the south of the house, just on the 50-foot buffer line. A little further down, towards the road.
Oh, got it. All
There
right,
you go.
thanks.
And they were blacktopping this week.
Pretty soon, as soon as that utility pole gets moved out front.
The one you're trying to get moved.
They had started already,
What? What do you mean?
blacktopping?
No, that's just the base that's in there. now.
No, that's the base,
That's the one, okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the required gravel base.
yeah.
Now, when you do remove the boulders, it's gonna be as necessary as if they sell them off, or
No, if they're gonna build a house, they'll get them all off the lot.
all
Yeah.
on one? That's a lot of
Yeah.
material.
There's, yeah, it is a lot of,
So you're not gonna be stockpiling it anywhere else, you'll be moving it for nothing if you,
Yeah, they're gonna stop on Jared's lot.
yeah, my son's lot. That way when we sell them, we can just load them over there.
okay.
He's got plenty of room outside the buffer, just off the road
Is
there.
that
by the
his,
drainage.
the next lot is?
No,
No,
the one at the
way
end of the
down.
cul-de-sac. So probably right near that drainage pond that they built at the end of the cul-de-sac. There's an open spot right before you go in Jared's driveway to the right. That'd probably be a good spot to
So
find.
no impact to wetlands as a result of that
No.
activity? All right.
Are any of those piles located within the buffer currently?
The furthest one might be, but 90% of them are up where the septic and the garage are going. They're on that upside of the hill. As it gets pretty steep as you go further down.
Sure.
Anyone else have a comment?
No, I'm good.
just out of curiosity, it doesn't really affect anything, but where do the boulders come from?
One spot of that road, all those big rocks come out of the one side and right in the middle of the road.
Really?
Yeah, we just kept digging, I'm like, what are we doing? And we just kept pulling them out.
I've never seen anything that big.
Yeah,
If you walk to the back of that property, it really starts to drop and the boulders are actually sticking out of the ground
Mhm.
in areas, so you can clearly see that that's,
it's good for retaining walls, because everyone's gonna have walkouts, so we'll be able to use all the big ones and stuff like that. We've been selling all the little ones, people buy them for stone walls, we just deliver them and stuff like that.
Wow.
A lot of people want us to go to New Hampshire and stuff like that, we said, no, you want them, you come down, we'll load your trucks. But
All right, well, no, I'm good.
There's no, place, when you drill this well
yep,
and it spurts out, do you have a,
we have the silt fence right around it.
alright,
We could put some, I'm sure he has sock there too, he's already got sock on site and everything, so we can surround it, make sure we don't get anything going down the hill.
okay,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
alright.
Yep.
Is that your only concern?
It's a lot of wetland.
Mm-hmm. Staying away from it.
It's just a knob right there that sticks out into that field.
While we're taking a minute here, I forgot to read the notice. So since you went through the trouble of posting it, I'll read it now. Pursuant to the Mass General Law, Chapter 131, the Wetlands Protection Act, Lakeville Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on May 9th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at Lakeville Council on Aging, 1 Deer Crossing, on a notice of intent filing. The applicant, Bizio and Son Construction, is proposing the construction of a single-family dwelling with on-site septic, a well, and associated grading and site work within the buffer zone of an existing wetland resource area. Project is located on 2 Rachel's Way and also identified as Assessor's Map 004, just to make it legal.
Alright, and I guess I do. I don't have a plan up there,
Yeah, I got a big plan
I
right here.
can't tell where the erosion barrier is exactly going.
Right along the back of the work.
Alright, well, I see the 50-foot.
It's a little hard to read.
right there.
Oh,
You gotta
that,
know where to look for it.
And then we've
and it's
got
going
another.
around the well.
Yep, and
and
up
all-
towards the street, yeah, so we don't get any slide down, and then we've got another little one here, just going around that little, that's the roof drain.
Oh, that little teeny,
Yep. And that'll probably be soft right there. Right on the 121 there,
Yeah.
we'll just put it right there too.
alright,
Cause it's really just a little depression of the rip wrap. And then we wrapped it up towards the road, so you shouldn't get anything down, and there's a stone wall right here, we'll bring it right to
Alright.
the stone wall.
alright, I can see it, it's like a line pointing
Yeah.
to where it is, and then it's not there, so it's not, alright, I get it. Alright. Why? Do you have any concerns?
No, I'll make the motion.
Oh, okay,
We always have the note too that the inspection has to happen first, so we'll make sure the inspection of the erosion barrier happens.
Actually, I'd
Okay.
like to add that when you do remove those blocks, if you could notify me.
okay,
Cause you're what, 2 minutes away?
Yeah, I could walk there, but I don't have the energy.
So remove what, Bob?
The existing
The
pile of
rocks,
boulders,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. So I'll make a motion to issue a standard order of conditions with a special condition of adding additional erosion control around the proposed well. The removal of the stockpiled material outside of the buffer and notification to Bob before you move those stockpiles. Anything else? Think that does it?
We're good? Okay,
Second.
motion and second, discussion? No discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
New business.
That's it.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Now, a couple things.
Easy meeting minutes.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah.
Minutes, did you guys get minutes
Yeah,
in your packet? I didn't get any on mine.
I don't think I did either.
there's nothing much to it.
This is the one that was just you and I.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the Lakeville Conservation Commission's meeting of March 14th, 2023, as presented.
Second.
Out of the rule of necessity.
Rule of necessity, exactly. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
It's motioned and seconded?
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And just a reminder that our next meeting will be here
Also,
Okay. On the 23rd.
on the 23rd. And while we conduct other business, let it,
we have signature pages, don't we?
I believe three signature pages.
We think there's enough pens for everyone.
Well, you know I usually do pencil.
You know what I do? I catch them all the time and they just go flipping out of my pocket, so I find them lying in my driveway.
And while you're signing those, we have several issues to discuss.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
I'm the one that asked for the notice of intent for the septic systems to be put on here.
yeah,
And we can discuss, but I would like Mark to be here, so I might wanna do that at the next meeting.
okay.
I think it's important to have his input. We had talked about it before, about whether we were gonna require a notice of intent.
Automatically on a septic?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I got a call from Niles asking, he has one,
Can we do that?
it's close to the 50 foot,
We have the authority to do that?
to do what? Yeah, of course we do.
We do?
Yeah. We can do anything we want,
No, we can't.
to
long as you
protect
don't
the
get-
wetland.
As long as you don't get caught.
You can suggest anything, but,
All right, so we'll defer that discussion till later.
yep,
All right. Beech leaf disease, I can report on that.
okay.
Last spring, I had about a half a dozen trees at the end of my driveway, and it looks like they were all gonna succumb, but they've all come back.
Really?
And I was amazed to see it. So I don't know how other trees are doing. I didn't.
I brought to Lori
The
a big
article,
article from the Boston Globe, huge article in
Is this it?
color. Yeah, I think she figured out a way to get the thing done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's harder to read because it shrunk down so much, because it was it was over a half a page.
It has the potential to change the ecology of Massachusetts.
It definitely will. We've gone through this before in, we'd say, the past 75 years with other different varieties of tree. And this one, I mean, it's the #1 shade tree in southeastern Massachusetts. So when you don't have shade,
Mm.
first thing that's gonna happen is your salamander count's gonna go down like crazy. And they're the #1 living creature in the soil, especially when it's shady, it gets some moisture.
Hmm.
It's gonna, and the tree companies are gonna be so busy. Because there's no such thing as a small beech branch, right?
Well, they're busy now, let me tell you, they're lining up
They're-
for tree cutting
Yep,
this summer.
yep,
I've been getting a lot of requests,
for tree removal.
tree removal, yeah. All right, so.
the
you guys are saying-
understory, like the 4,000
Oh.
acres of the APC, the understory
Yeah,
is, especially at this time of year, it's beautiful because when the beech trees are a little later, when they start to leaf, it's that light color green for about 2 weeks before the leaves get bigger and turn darker green. But the whole understory of most of the forest is all little beech trees.
So what can we do about it?
Well, you remember the fuss that they
Yeah.
put up. Right now, there is no other alternative method that's being
the
proposed.
one failure of that article is they mentioned water and chemicals, but they don't mention where beaches grow and what the chemicals do,
Yeah,
to the water body that they're adjacent to.
Yeah, if it weren't inside the buffer zone, it wouldn't be so bad, but that proximity just is not good.
But doesn't it say that keeping your tree healthy?
Well, some of the articles said that it takes as much as 2 years before it starts to present itself.
You only signed one of the three, by the way.
Oh,
So we still got time. Let's see what's on, we'll wait for the rest.
I think the best part of the article is it's written by a tree company, and their number one recommendation is to have a tree expert come to your property
You
and
like
look at
that?
it twice a year.
Self-serving. Huh?
Less than a year ago, there was a tree company working right in Standard Shores, where our other house is. And I talked to the guys there, they'd never even heard of it. And I said, you will.
To be honest, I haven't seen it in Wareham, have you?
I haven't seen it, no.
No.
There you go, sir. John, I think it's your move.
but it does say that you can perform maintenance like fertilization and vertical mulching, it's not recommending chemicals in that part.
What's vertical mulching?
Just what it says.
Yeah.
Building it up
Yeah.
under the base of the tree?
Yeah. That helps rejuvenate the root mass, so keeping a healthy tree seems to be
The biggest thing you
part of it. I
can
think we still need to be careful and probably get something from DEP, maybe.
You would think they'd be all over this and letting us know. You would think MACC would be all over this, letting us know.
We got some of the information from UMass,
Yep.
Right,
but that was about it.
some guidance on how to handle when people wanna put chemicals in the buffer zone or near the water
Near the water body.
body, cause there's a lot of beech trees all around them. I got giant ones in my, I mean,
Beaches be
ones I can't
be
even put my
loving the
arms
water.
around in
Yep.
my yard.
Mine are all small.
Do we have anything else, Mr. Chairman?
Not that I can,
Oh,
wait a
turtle
minute, no.
crossing.
Turtles. Turtles can't read apparently.
I always wondered about that.
Oh, it says it right here, black or white. There's a turtle crossing sign. And like moose, they ignore them,
They ignore from the,
so, I don't
So,
know.
how did that get on the agenda?
I didn't put it,
Weren't we talking about signs or something like?
We were talking about conservation signs
Conservation
along the
signs.
wetland.
I think
Michelle from the planning board
Board.
reached out to me
Yes,
about this.
that, right.
She reached out to
Yep.
you as well.
Yep,
I
yep.
mean, I didn't put it on the agenda, but
Okay,
I think I'm the one that put it on the agenda.
okay.
And
okay,
it turns out, you know, she had a talk with Franklin, but he's super highways. And basically, we can make our own signs and stick them up. It's basically what it is.
Yeah, when Michelle reached out to me about it, I didn't know where she wanted them. So
Yeah.
you know, a few of my concerns were if you're trying to put it on a state road, you probably need state approval.
Yes.
And then one of my other concerns for her was who's going to fund it. You
Right,
know, who's going to pay for the turtle crossing signs. And I told her to reach out to Nate about the actual signage because
Right.
that falls under his purview. And then I told him to reach out, or I told her to reach out to Franklin because, you know, DPW makes sense.
It's on the signs.
there's a few places, I was going down Highland Road, that low part, down below, down almost to Route 18, there's always crossing over there. And I was driving down the hill and some big old mama was taking her time, and I stopped, put on my flashers, and everybody stopped behind me, and as the cars came around the corner off Route 18, I just flashed my lights and they all stopped and, you know, we watched. And now we can go, you know, for the most part.
there's already turtle signs at the end of Highland Road, are they gone? Girl Scout project, it was a
No.
Girl Scout project, right, where that little park is at the
Yeah.
end of Highland Road, there was a turtle crossing sign, right, there was a piece in the paper about it, they came, took a picture of the
Oh.
little Girl Scout, had
Not
that put
anymore.
up.
I don't know. I don't come off this
Also,
island.
If you go around the corner by Pond Cemetery,
There's the
that
fencing.
straightaway, that DEP put that fencing
The fencing
in,
in,
which I've
yeah.
never liked because it's really bad for the mammals.
Yes,
I've seen how many little baby
Fox
fox running
can't,
down
yeah,
because they
yeah.
can't. So there's fencing all the way across there, so the turtles can't cross Massawamset into that like Parkhurst Canal or swamp area there. Is another way they do it. That DEP financed that was always strange to me.
Didn't, Bob Gucci was in today, and I guess his thing is starting up
Oh,
on
What thing?
His
Harding
work.
Street.
Oh,
He said
it
they
is?
came up for reinspection of his
Okay.
turtle crossing, so it made me think of it.
All right. Well, Wildlands Trust wrote that letter, said it was the best they had ever seen, his turtle habitat,
Yeah.
whatever he did, right?
why are you laughing?
He was just
Laughing
in such
because
a
it probably
wonderful
cost him a
mood,
fortune.
Yeah, because it
That's
costs him
why
a
he's-
fortune, all
yeah.
he does is bitch about it.
and he's never seen a turtle.
Oh, are we still on?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay for that.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And motion to adjourn is second, all those in favor?
Aye.